Hello there, you're listening to the Box Office Show. I'm Ryan Hill, and Dylan Johnson will not be joining us today, but I will be going over the box office numbers from last weekend and my box office predictions for this upcoming weekend. So Dylan is not diving into the zombie apocalypse with me, but for the 15th anniversary of The Walking Dead's premiere, I wanted to dissect how this mega hit franchise became a phenomenon and why it may have fallen out of the mainstream. So this is an anatomy of a masterpiece with a twist. I'm bringing on a former Walking Dead watcher, Hunter Vance, and a Walking Dead newbie, Edward Finan, to join me in discussing my rewatch of key episodes of The Walking Dead, including the pilot, the finale, and the highest rated episodes per IMDb of all 11 seasons of The Walking Dead. So, will we find that it does reach masterpiece status, or did The Walking Dead become a corpse of itself in need of a merciful crossbow bolt to the head? We will discuss. All right, I am skipping over the news. I'll dive into the box office breakdown for October 10th to the 12th. Tron Ares did take the top spot with 33 million. However, that is underneath what Tron Legacy made 15 years ago. So definitely not the greatest opening that Disney was hoping for there. In second place, Roofman in its debut had 8.1 million. One Battle After Another, 6.8 million, bringing its domestic total across 50 million. Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, 3.4 million. The Conjuring Last Rites, 3.1 million. Its domestic total is now past 170 million. Soul on Fire, 2.8 million. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, 2.2 million. The Smashing Machine, 1.8 million. The Strangers Chapter 2, 1.6 million. And Good Boy rounds out the top 10 with 1.4 million. For this upcoming weekend, October 17th to the 19th, we have a horror film hitting theaters since we're in spooky season. Black Phone 2, the sequel to The Black Phone, starring Ethan Hawke and Mason Thames, is going to hope to get more than 23 million so that they can beat out the original's domestic debut. And I think it can do it. I think it'll get cross 20 million, and I think it'll be able to hit 25 million. All right, so before I throw it to my conversations with Edward and Hunter, I want to provide a little more info on this unorthodox approach we took to the anatomy of a masterpiece. So the way that we did it was I met with Edward and Hunter 4 separate times to record our discussions on 4 different batches of episodes. So we have one batch of 4 episodes for seasons 1 to 2 that started the show. The Darabont era has its own sort of feel and vibe to it. Then we did another batch of 4 episodes from seasons 3 to 5 with Glenn Mazzara taking over as showrunner and then Scott M. Gimple taking over. And that was also, the peak of The Walking Dead's popularity, definitely as far as viewership numbers go. And then we would record our episode on that. Then we would watch the next 4 episodes from seasons 6 to 9, which has some high highs, but it's also the starting point of that decline, especially as far as viewership and its status in the mainstream pop culture. And then we did our discussion on it, and then we watched the final 4 episodes, that final batch that took us from season 9 to 11 after there'd been some major cast shakeups that sort of changed the identity of the show. And so our final batch of episodes, our final recording was based on that, which is interesting because that is totally new territory for both me and Hunter. But the goal of splitting it up and doing these batches of episodes and then recording our discussion based on just those 4 episodes was so that we could have opinions that are a bit more fresh, but also untainted by the knowledge of what is to come. So especially for Edward, who doesn't know any of the finer details of any parts of the show, but then for both myself and Hunter, as we get deeper into the show, we know less and less about it. So we want to try and preserve that experience of not letting what came before get tainted by the new stuff that we're seeing. Not that it would be tainted, but we just wanted to go in and treat it as like we're getting bits and pieces, little morsels of the different eras of The Walking Dead so that we could, compare them more discreetly. So that is the approach we took for this anatomy of a masterpiece. And I do have to say, for the first, actually two batches that we did, there were some technical difficulties. Okay, we had some zombies were biting our wires and messing things up. They did not want us speaking on The Walking Dead. And so I apologize for that, but the discussion in there is still worthwhile, but may not be the most pleasant to listen to at all times. But there's some funny little nuggets in there from some of the technical difficulties that did arise from me dropping out or Edward dropping out. So enjoy those portions at least and enjoy the discussion of The Walking Dead. All right, now here I am with Edward and Hunter. Thanks again, both of you, for returning to the show.
We're back and we're better than ever.
Yeah, happy to be here again.
You guys are my guinea pigs for this little experiment, this pod idea I've had for a while. And I'm like, I just need to find the right people. And I have found them for sure. Oh, little hamster up on screen. Beautiful. Not a real hamster, unfortunately. If you had a real hamster, that'd be even crazier.
Oh,
What was that? Was it a squirrel, chipmunk, hamster?
no, it was a hamster.
Turtle? Okay, solid. I just wanted to be respectful of, the
Yeah.
proper species for that little thing. But yeah, so few hamsters, if any, in Walking Dead, but a lot of zombies, a lot of
Walkers.
a lot of walkers. Yeah, no zombies actually. Yeah, they're just called walkers or
Yeah.
geeks, as they're called sometimes. Pretty funny. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the first batch of episodes that we selected for The Walking Dead. And we're going to do that whole snapshot of the entire series by plucking out those highest rated episodes across the entire series. And what's special about it, we have Hunter, who has
Yes.
watched a bit of the show, and Edward, who has not watched pretty much any of it. So, Hunter, talk about your experience and history with The Walking Dead. Go for it.
Yeah, so back in like middle school, I heard it getting like rounds and everything and popularity growing. It was already probably after season 5 or 4 is when I started watching it because I just binged it all on Netflix up until currently. And then I watched up until I believe it was season 8. Towards the end of season 8 is when I lost interest in the show. But I was a huge fan earlier on. Like I bought comics and everything, and I would watch the Talking Dead episodes. Like after
Mm-hmm.
I was in there. I loved it. But yeah, I watched about 3-4 seasons of it live. So
All right. And then, Edward, how about you? Your history with The Walking Dead.
Yeah, so I have seen the pilot probably 3 or 4 times because I really I really wanted to get into the show. I played the Telltale games, loved those. The Telltale games were like definitely a definitive part of my childhood. With what was her name, Clementine, and I
hmm
forget the guy's name, but it was phenomenal. Love that game. The choice based stuff, and so I've always wanted to get into The Walking Dead. And then I just never did. It was always something it was cross platforms. Sometimes it was on, sometimes it was off. Just
Mhm.
never had the ambition, I guess you can say. And I was always like, there's 11 seasons of the show, and then there's, however many
5
spin-off
spin-offs
series.
and whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's tons of spin-offs, and so I was always, not, kind of frightened, but like timid about it, and being like, if I'm going to jump into this, I want to jump in. But then you obviously, I was, I'm looking for new shows now, and this might have been on my list, but you were like, let's do this podcast idea where I'm the, the test subject in this reign of
Mhm.
reign of terror for The Walking Dead. And I was more than happy to do it, and it's enjoyable, and I, obviously we'll talk more about it, but it is fantastic. I really like the show so far.
I
Nice.
I do want to add something. I also forgot to mention I watched the first season of Fear the Walking Dead when that was like happening.
Mm,
I don't remember like anything of it, but I do remember at least watching the first season.
gotcha. Okay. But yeah, I wanted to do this because there's a bit of a zombie renaissance happening with The Last of Us and 28 years later. And I honestly don't know. Maybe it was those things or other things. Randomly, the YouTube algorithm maybe fed me something Walking Dead related, but I just started like rewatching some scenes and being like, dude, this show kind of slaps. Actually, it might
No,
have been because a friend, because I was recently in Europe, and then one of the locations for a show, I guess spoiler for one of the questions coming up, but for one of the spin-offs, they shot in France. Like they're just in Europe now, which is crazy how they got over there. But they were in France and they were shooting at Mont Saint Michel, which I happened to be visiting. And I just took a picture, put it up somewhere, and he was like, "Is that from the Daryl Dixon show?" And I'm like, "Is it?" And he was like, "Yeah, I think that's where they shot." And I'm like, "That's crazy." So I think maybe
Yeah.
that I started like looking things up, and that's what brought it probably in the algorithms because I was searching that up to fact check it, and it's true. They shot there. And so yeah, so I was like, I want to re-experience the show, but in this particular way of like bringing other people through it, especially someone that hasn't seen any of it before, to get that feeling of like, where does a show along the way lose a bit of its like charm and become a corpse of itself? And
Unintended.
so yeah, so seeing how that happens. Oh yeah, you like that? So, and does it reanimate itself? Is it able to come back from the dead? Oh, maybe a follow up with the spin-offs possibly. But yeah, so I wanted to do that because I was like a huge fan of it. I was watching it live. Probably I'd watched my brother watch like the first 2 seasons, and I'm not a horror guy. Like I do not like horror films, and so watching that, like the first couple episodes, I was like watching it through my fingers and everything. But eventually I was like, oh, this actually isn't that scary. Like for whatever reason, I'm just like, oh, like I can handle zombies. I can handle all this like fake gore. So I would watch that. Little secret that I think has come up. I have seen like the first 5 or 6 episodes of season 3, and I think the last couple. I don't think I've seen season 3 in between those, like the beginning and ends. Like to this day, I still don't think I have. Um, so that would be funny. But I remember distinctly when we get to our next batch, the big stuff that happens in season 3.
Maybe
So
you'll finally get to watch it.
Yeah.
maybe, well, the one I've seen that we'll watch, I've seen before, and
Yeah.
that always was like burned into my brain. But I'm like, I don't know why I stopped after that. I think it was the same reason why I eventually left the show because I watched it live as it was airing seasons 4 through through 9. Actually, like I completed 9. I did the same thing. I would watch Talking Dead, like I was into it. And then season 10, I was going to watch it, but it was airing on AMC channel. I tried to DVR it. It didn't go through one of the times, and they didn't do the reruns in the way that would have been timely for me. So I was like, I guess I'll just wait till Netflix. And then when it eventually hit Netflix, I'm like, maybe I don't care anymore. So I just didn't watch season 10 or 11. So I fell off around there. But so many people I talked to when I was trying to like find people to do this episode with, so many people had watched it. They're like, oh yeah, I watched it up until season 6 or 7 or 8, something like that. And so, yeah, I just think it's fascinating how It was one of the biggest. It was the biggest show on cable TV,
Hmm.
and had this huge legacy, huge imprint. Everyone knows Rick Grimes, Daryl Dixon. Like, you can recognize these people, and then now it's like fallen off the face of the earth. It's crazy. Like, so many people dropped off from it. So yeah, I just wanted to interrogate that, and see where it fell along the way.
Also, you're talking about how big it was, just brought back a deep cut memory. For a fifth
Yeah.
grade Halloween party, I got a Spirit Halloween costume of Rick Grimes,
Oh snap!
and I was him for Halloween.
That goes hard. That goes extremely hard. You
May have
had
been fifth grade. I don't know. It was
the
around
gun
that time.
too.
Yeah, I had the
Mhm.
hat, the gun. Hmm.
Very cool. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and start our journey through this. We're doing it in 4 batches, 4 episodes each. The first batch, we looked at the first 2 seasons. The episodes were the pilot, Days Gone By, the season finale of season 1, TS19, episode 207, Pretty Much Dead Already, and then episode 212, Better Angels. So, and this is other Hunter, I'm sure you know some of it as well,
Hmm.
but like the show started, it was Frank Darabont was
Yep.
the showrunner, 6 episodes on AMC, and he was supposed to continue, but AMC doubled the episode count for season 2 and then like halved the budget and basically pushed Darabont out. So the first 2 seasons of the show are like kind of their own distinct thing that has sort of Darabont's intention with them. And then the rest is like a whole separate thing. But
Yep.
yeah, and even to this day, I think it maybe got settled, but like Darabont has sued AMC. Robert Kirkman, the creator of the comics, has sued AMC. So it's like AMC. It's so sad that ultimately they got instead of like HBO. I dream of what the show could have been if it were on HBO.
Oh man, that would
Um,
have been a crazy.
yeah, because despite this being AMC's cash cow, they totally disrespected the project like over and over and over again from season 2. Like, why kick out the showrunner, half its budget while doubling its episode count, making them have to do all these bottle episodes and everything? It's like so silly, so stupid. You had it, and you
Yeah,
wasted it.
and don't forget that AMC also had, I mean, arguably the best show on during this as well. Like ending in
True.
within what is it like? I think season 3. Like that's
Yeah,
when
they
Breaking
were
Bad
cooking. They
started
had
to end.
everything. They had Breaking Bad, Mad Men, and Walking
Yeah.
Dead all at once. And now all they have are Walking Dead spinoffs.
Yeah, like
Mm,
5 of them or something. I don't
Yeah,
know. There's so many.
yeah.
it's
Do they
ridiculous.
own Shutter? Do we know that? I don't know if they
I
own
think
Shutter, but
so.
something like that because they have a lot of horror movies on there now,
They
and
do.
they've been getting a lot of that on AMC Plus. But I honestly don't
Yeah,
even know if
AMC
AMC Plus
owns
is a
Shutter.
thing anymore because of
Oh my
HBO.
god, AMC Plus. That's how I had to watch Better Call Saul. The last season of
That's
it
how
was
I also
awful.
watch Better Call Saul.
That was
Yeah.
me too. Yeah.
Yep.
And I watched one of the spinoffs, but we'll talk about that way later. But so Days Gone By, the pilot episode of The Walking Dead. It's like 62 minutes or 67, something like that. So it's like that extended episode.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. So it's crazy to me, Edward, that you tried to watch the show 3 times and you didn't get past the pilot. So talk to me. What's going on with you in the
Yeah.
past, and have you
No.
rectified it and become a better person now?
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason I'm an asshole now, um, no, the episode, the the start of it
Series
is
premiere.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the series premiere, it's fantastic. I mean, even like now, having watched like 20 days and 28 weeks, it's very reminiscent of that, where it's he's coming out of a coma and all these things are happening, and you're like, wow, this is peak. Like I don't know how I didn't continue watching it because rewatching it today, I was just again blown away. Where it's like I don't know why, but it was a thing where I would watch the episode. Maybe it was at 10 or 11 at night, and then I just couldn't watch the second episode, and then I don't know, moved on. I don't know what it was,
Mhm.
um, but I definitely yeah, it's a great pilot. I I understand the hype and all that, and yeah, it's kind of like the perfect in my head. It's what I like, so it's hard to imagine why I never got into it. Um, but yeah, that's I mean, essentially, yeah, it's and like I haven't watched like Lost or any of those, but I know it's compared to that as well. in that way. Just very good pilot. Nothing really. I will say that the other 3 episodes, I definitely have a lot more good things to say, but I think it's hard to say, anything else, add anything else to this episode because it's just great.
Yeah, it's very like atmospheric as well. I think they do a great job of
Mhm.
slowly
Yeah.
easing you into the world. Again, they do the 28 days later approach of we're seeing through the character's eyes what the world has become,
Yeah.
um, who didn't live through the apocalypse like starting, so now he's just randomly thrown into it a month
Yeah.
after the fact. So I think yeah, it's just a great way they do that there. And a lot of the like the it became a meme, the don't dead open inside.
Yeah.
Um, but like that moment where he visits those doors and then it slowly opens, you hear the like groaning of the zombies and then the fingers start peeking through. I'm like, this is great. Like I have not been unsettled by something in The Walking Dead for like seasons and seasons and seasons. Because I mean, yeah, you just get used to the zombies over and over. But I
Yeah.
was delighted to see how they were able to like capture that sense of dread from that initial episode. So yeah, pleased about that. Hunter, what about you? What stuck out to you about revisiting this pilot?
A lot of the iconic moments. So like the don't, you know, open dead inside or don't dead open inside. Have you? And then the little girl with the teddy bear and
Yeah,
everything, and the stuffed animal. It's just those moments, so iconic, as well as him on the horseback riding to Atlanta.
riding into Atlanta for
I
sure,
mean,
for
come
sure.
on. And the
Yeah, it's
tank,
good.
like all these moments are just like you feel the weight of everything happening. It's like Edward and you guys said, atmospheric. It's very, very atmospheric, and in ways that I feel like the show loses later on.
Mm-hmm. We'll
But
talk. Yeah,
we will
see how
talk
that
about it.
evolution or
Yeah,
de-evolution goes, but for
but
sure, like
it's
they
just
captured it well in the
it
pilot.
is pristine in the pilot. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
great, great pilot for any show.
Yeah, and then the two things I want to shout out that just like floored me in this Rick and Shane's conversation in the beginning, like that way to just introduce the two of them, where they're just talking about Shane's like the way he talks to some random girl in his life and everything, and then Rick opening up about his marriage troubles. Um,
Hmm.
I thought that was very compelling because it sort of established this issue early on, which you think is okay. This is like Rick's character arc. What he's gonna have to deal with is his family, or at least Lori thinks he doesn't care. And now here he is waking up in an apocalypse 30 days or whatever it is later, and they're gone, and they probably think he's dead. And now he needs to get back to them and essentially prove to them, like he wants to prove to them, like, no, I do love you and I want to protect you. Like he can't leave it at that sour note where they, or Lori at least specifically thinks he doesn't care. So I think that was a great introduction. And then the later scene was the cross cutting between Rick and Morgan when Rick goes to put down the bicycle zombie and Morgan's trying to shoot his zombified wife. Like the music selection there, like whatever that music was,
Yeah,
beautiful, like so touching. And then this moment overall was just like so tender. It's something as well, like by the nature of the show, season 11, you're not gonna, and practically the characters wouldn't care either about random zombies they're trying to put down. But
Yeah,
this is Rick very early on, and he's seeing like this zombie, like someone cut in half. That was like a person, like 1 month ago, like that was a full person with a whole life, and here he is feeling like distraught over that and wants to do something good, like put them down, put them out of their misery, and you see he's like on the verge of tears doing it. And then Morgan as well, like having to try and separate the love for his wife for this undead creature she is now, and he can't do it. He's like trying and he's unable to pull the trigger. It was just such a very tender moment that I thought was perfectly done. Like it's my favorite moment from the pilot now, and one of my favorite scenes in The Walking Dead overall. I just think it's so perfectly done.
yeah, and it definitely
mhm,
encapsulates his character super well. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm the virgin in this, but it definitely it definitely shows his humanity really well right off the bat, where he's like, okay, he is not, and we'll go into what happens in season 2, where it's something humongous happens for him. He has to do
Mhm.
something um, pretty awful. Hunter, I wouldn't do that to you, baby. And yeah, it's just it's wild to already see the evolution through 4 episodes where I'm like missing a lot of this, plot, and the transfer from the first episode into the 6th episode, it's like night and day. You're like, this guy is evolving pretty quickly, and
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what happens, but I know it's not going to be good.
for sure. The other thing I think the episode did great was just teasing what would be for that season. And, the first 2 seasons, a big dilemma, a big point of drama, which is Shane and Lori, Rick's wife, hooked up after the apocalypse started. So you're like, oh no, like obviously Rick's going to find out about that at some point. It's going to mess up the marriage, mess up their friendships. How's that going to play out? So I think do a great job of setting that up. And we get to see it play out in the season finale, TS19. So the gang heads into the CDC in order to hopefully find answers, find a cure maybe. And they discover, nope, it ain't like that. Ain't that kind of world.
Yeah.
So for this episode, what stuck out to you, Edward? Was it easy to like keep track? Because obviously you skipped 4 episodes in between. So what was the like getting acclimated to that, and especially all the new characters? Because we really only had Rick and Morgan, Shane and Lori in the first one. Now we have the whole gang from season 1, the Atlanta group. So
immediately John Bernthal like sticks out, like not a sore thumb, but like he is just acting loops around these people, and like,
dude, it's ridiculous. In the season 2 stuff as well, the Sophia episode, like I'm just like, this guy's going crazy. He's so good.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
He's insane. And I mean, the season finale where he's, they're all getting drunk and they're all like around this table, and you can see things like, I mean, obviously I don't know certain drama points and stuff like that, but I can tell that there's like certain things that have happened and that have kind of caused them to feel this distraught.
Can you tell when they all get to the CDC and everyone immediately gets plastered? First thing they do is just get.
Even my boy Glenn, like he's hungover even, but I think, and like the scene with John Bernthal and Lori, and how he's like, I didn't expect that at all, by the way. I'm just like, as in, like, I knew it was a problem from the first episode, but I didn't know like he was gonna be like that. And then I like, because the whole episode I'm like, oh yeah, he's just like this like lunatic guy who's just crazy, and like and then he does the horrible thing and like tries to put himself on Lori, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, it's rough. It's a rough scene. Even in a zombie filled show, they still have this like tension through drama, and it's pretty interesting. But I mean the ending, obviously, like, I don't know any of the like the character that stayed back, I forget her name. I honestly don't remember her name, but
I don't think they said it. Honestly, her name is Jackie. I had low-key forgotten a little bit. I had to look it up. I knew it spelled weird. I thought it was Jacqueline, but no, it's Jackie, but just with like a CQ. But yeah, she was sort of not that major of a character anyway.
Okay. I expected that, because I was like, they wouldn't just kill off a main character immediately like that. But then, because then there was the girl that lost her sister,
the blonde Andrea.
She was like, I could tell she had layers and that I didn't understand, but I was like, okay, she's gonna be the one to stay back. And then she's like, yeah, I'm gonna stay back, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense, so I get that. And then she ends up not. I'm like, oh, okay. Cool.
Dale talked around it.
Yeah. And I'm guessing the other guy was her wife, or was her husband. They were together, or
Dale, the old guy with the beard,
the African American guy. I forget his name.
T-Dog.
T-Dog.
I don't know. I don't remember, because she was like, oh, and he was like, baby, what are you talking about? And I was like, I don't remember them being a thing, because he left. You saw Dale stayed behind for Andrea, who they have no connection. I mean, they say the thing, they just knew each other from the apocalypse, and he like took a
We lost him.
He's offline.
Pause for a second while we take these technical difficulties to another level. Did you hear that?
Dude, you see here's the spike in the.
Yo, if this is still recording, I hope
It
that's in it. That is so funny.
Oh my god.
I just shit myself. Yo, that spike is crazy.
I just.
I'm wearing white pants too. Fuck.
That was my impression of Jackie and Dr. Jenner when they blow up in the CDC. Just mid-sentence cutting out. But anyway, yeah, so other thoughts on this season finale. What else did y'all think?
I never cared for it. I didn't care for it when I
You
watched
didn't
it
like
the
it?
first time. And then when we watched it again, I still was like, wow, I just don't care for this season
I know, I kind of
finale.
like it because
really
you get the understanding of the way that it works, the wildfire virus, what causes them to be zombies. And then
Yeah.
everyone's freaking out when Dr. Jenner tries to like close them in. And then Rick and Shane is very good. Obviously, in all these episodes, Shane comes up with a shotgun ready to shoot his head off to try and convince him to let them out. Rick makes an appeal through negotiation, like talking with them, trying to be like, well, everyone else quit, killed themselves. You didn't. You had a choice in that. What was your reason? And you find out TS-19, the test subject, was Jenner's wife. So, yeah, he was able to get through to him that way. So I think that was a nice little showcase of their dynamic. I just think is so funny. They get out the grenade, which comes from the tank, by the way, that he was trapped in, Edward.
Oh,
Pilot.
yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I found that really funny that like she's like, yeah, I found this when I was cleaning your. I was like, okay, like Minecraft inventory. Like, what is this? Like,
but it's true. I mean, we see him pocket the grenade. We see Carol doing laundry the like next episode, so it all checked out. But yeah, so I liked those elements. I was thinking it's great, and the pilot as well. You see this, but it showcases the luxury of warm showers, like how high it gets when they can take a hot shower.
True.
So yeah, I like that. Yeah. Any other thoughts on the season finale?
Yeah. I'm not gonna agree with Hunter in that it's a like bad season finale, but I can understand how this could be like an underwhelming season finale in a certain way where it's like, I don't know, everything just blows up and then that's it.
Yeah, there's an explosion.
Yeah.
How can it be bad?
Yeah.
But
It's cool. It's cool, and like, but I also don't think the revelations are like that satisfactory for a season to end like that. But again, this is from me, so like take this with a grain of salt because I don't know everything. But it was like, yeah, it's hard to say when I was thrown into it, but still like it's the surrounding thing where they have all the technology and all this stuff, and I'm like, this is so like not what makes the show good. I don't think I don't think this is this is like as strong as it can be. I think the drama is good though. I can tell like with the different characters, it's you can tell the dynamics between all of them, which is good.
Yeah. I found the explosion. I still do always find it to be a bit goofy. It's like, okay, just like really, okay.
Yeah, sure. I can see that. I can see that.
That's coming from an action guy too. I see an explosion, I'm like, ooh, but I don't know. In the world of The Walking Dead, like the whole the CDC, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I do think it does have some revelations there because they find out which Andrea latches onto really early, which is like there is no hope of a cure or people coming in to save it. So like we're stuck in this world. I think that at least sets the tone of say The Last of Us. There's always that element of the cure in there, or someone being immune. Walking Dead, they're like this is not the case, and they establish that early on here in this episode. So I think that's pretty cool. And then, yeah, Jenner whispers something to Rick. He's like, Rick is like, "Oh, thanks for letting us out." Jenner's like, "There will come a day where you won't be grateful for being let out." And then he whispers something to him. And that revelation comes in the season 2 final episode that we watched, Better Angels 212. So, yeah, for season 2, Edward, what are your thoughts?
Season 2, yeah. So the episode we watched was Pretty Much Dead Already. Episode 7, I think it is the highest rated on IMDb on out of this season. I thought it was really strong. Really, like, they're trying to find this girl, or the is it the daughter, right? It's the daughter
Yeah,
of the
daughter.
one
Yes.
Andrea, right? Or not Andrea,
No.
the other
Carol.
girl. I forget her
Short
name.
hair. Very short hair.
Yes. And
yeah, pretty much it already is the highest rated on IMDb.
yeah,
For
that.
Don't check that, Edward. Don't check IMDb.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
trust
I
me,
won't
episode
check.
you, but don't check
Not
this.
past the
Don't
season.
spoil it.
Yes.
Yeah,
No.
of the season.
Yes.
Correct.
But I think leading up to her, in the barn, like the whole barn thing is so odd to me. I was like, damn, this is so weird. They have a bunch of walkers in this like, I was a little confused with what they were doing with it, but I thought that was pretty interesting that she ends up coming out of there, and you're like, that whole scene, like where it's like kind of stop and like they're trying to Lori's hiding Carl from it and all this stuff, and they're just all bawling their eyes out. The emotion in that scene is like crazy. Probably the best out of what we've seen so far, or what I've seen so far. But yeah, it was probably the best out of the 4. I would say this was the best episode. Just with the dynamics, and John Bernthal again, just like laughs around everyone. He's awesome. Daryl is great, and Glenn's little romance and thing. I love Glenn. Glenn's great. But we say all this, and I'm kind of like leaving out the main guy of Rick. Obviously, like no doubt he's still very, very good in this. He deserves flowers as well for it, and how they're like, taking like the pole, and like he's like, yeah, you're the carrot, not the stick. It's like that was it was an interesting scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then no, this isn't that episode, but that's the next episode. But yeah, that's it's great. I liked it a lot. I think this was the episode that made me realize that I was like, ooh, this is why this show is good.
I mean,
It
you
makes
get
me wanna watch
what
it
is
for
that? What is that?
Bernthal memes coming out here
Yeah, no, all the Bernthal memes.
and running. Let me ask you
Yeah.
something, Herschel. How can that thing keep walking if I shoot it right in the chest and then just unload?
Yeah, just
You think that's a living thing? Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And let's get your thoughts real quick on that final episode that we watched.
Yes.
At least 2.
Yes, the
Better
final
Angels.
episode.
angels.
And Shane finally comes to a head.
Yes. No, I honestly, I know like some certain spoilers in the show. So I thought it was going some way. I thought it was going to be something about Carl, and it wasn't. It was about Shane, and it was, going out into that that greenery, like that green pass, and they're having their heart to heart or whatever, and then Bernthal pulls the gun on him, and he's like, "You're gonna have to shoot an unarmed man." I was like, "Damn." But yeah, this was also a really, really strong episode. Even for like Glenn and Daryl, this is the episode where I like really realized that Daryl is like a super, super dope character. With his crossbow is just like so iconic. Like, I mean, even I knew it before the show started. Like before I had started this, and yeah, he just has aura among aura in the show, and specifically this episode. But yeah, I think for this, Shane finally comes to an end, and he was kind of. I don't really know about the whole season, but it seems like he was kind of an antagonist-ish kind of thing, where he's the one that's breaking out. What was it? Dale? Was Dale's his name? The guy
Right.
from the other.
Randall was the prisoner.
Yeah, the prisoner, and he's like taking him out, and then he ends up losing him or whatever. And yeah, that weight was pretty heavy on like when Bernthal comes back, and then they go out and do the thing. Pretty rough, and then Carl ends up headshot. I mean, like perfect headshot on him
for
with
his
blade.
first shot ever.
Yeah, and he's got a weak boy, but not weak enough, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty entertaining. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So before we wrap, I'll let you go real quick. I want to get your favorite characters. Just give me a top 5 right now.
Top 5.
Yeah.
5. Okay.
Mainly,
top 5.
What characters do you know right now?
Yeah, of the characters that I know. Obviously, one that's the first one is Bernthal's character is Shane. Even though he's like super flawed, he is definitely has the most character in the show. With just you can tell that I don't know if it's his acting, but he has something behind his eyes that just says something totally differently than what he's presenting all the time. And then 2 would probably, I mean, specifically for Better Angels, I think it would be Daryl, just because I know Daryl is like the coolest guy ever. So it's like I can see that he's I can see the potential, and I watching it, I think he would be probably my favorite character if I watched the full thing. But so he'll go in at 2, and then 3 would probably be Rick, just because Rick is Rick. He's badass. He's the leader, and he really holds the ship together. And then 4, it would probably 4 and 5. I would say Glenn and Lori. Those are both just great characters. Lori, finding out that she's pregnant and everything like that is pretty interesting. And Glenn's whole love, he's just has. I don't know. He's got the most in me. I feel like he would be who I am in that show. There's a lot more that I know that happens to him. So I'm very afraid. But I am that would probably be my top 5. Lori and Glenn would probably round out the top 5 for 4 and 5, but kind of a tie.
Any characters you dislike? Any characters that you're like, I want this mofo dead. I don't like looking at this person. Get him out.
Well, I mean, since he's already dead, I would say the CDC guy. He was awful. Did not like him. Glad he died. But that's honestly it. I mean, John Bernthal too. Like even Shane. Like I did kind of want him dead because he's
he's not
a great person. He's not a great person. He's a great character though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And then any who do you think is gonna die in the next batch of episodes? Give a prediction of
in the next batch.
Marked for death. Yeah.
Marked for death. I Herald Galactus. It would probably be. That's a tough one. Because we've got, I think, because Carl is. I think Carl's probably on my watch list, and T-Dog. I think T-Dog's a really cool character, but both of them, I think, are expendable. I don't know. Like they have that feel. I have a feeling.
The child.
Coral?
Huh?
Coral?
Carl?
Rick's son?
Rick's
yes, Rick's son.
Only son.
Yeah, because I think after Shane has died, he's kind of been his like not right hand man, but like it seems like they have a relationship that that really helped Carl in a way to defend himself and stuff. So I think maybe without him, he might not do great, or he might do better. So
would you be surprised to learn that Carl has already been shot and survived? Like season 2, episode 1, the mofo gets shot. That's how it ends. Shot.
Oh jeez, I did not know that. No, I would be very surprised if you
survived.
Told me that.
He ain't a weak boy. Okay,
he ain't a weak boy.
He's not a weak boy. He survived a gunshot, man.
Yeah,
Daddy before.
That's not no weak boy.
Rick and Carl both got shot. Shane just got stabbed. He can't even take that.
Yeah. And that's how Shane dies. But yeah. No. Well, with that information, I would switch it to Andrea. I would add Andrea to that list, just because it felt like she was already gonna die. So I'm now like, okay, is she gonna now is she gonna go? So I would switch my answer to Andrea. I think with
Okay, and
that.
final question. I
Yes,
showed you the dictatorship speech,
you
an
did.
iconic moment in the Walking Dead fandom, as it were. So what you think? This ain't a democracy anymore. He put his foot down.
Yeah, and that's the very end of the season finale, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Rick taking it into his own hands. I think that's good for the group because Shane was kind of veering them off course. It seemed like, and I think Rick. I think I trust Rick's intention. Oh
Ooh,
no.
lost him again.
Okay, but I'm just gonna say this so they have the
Yeah.
audio. But I think Rick. I think he has good intentions, and I think he can. Oh, he's back. Um, but I think Rick has good intentions, even though they might be rocky. I think. I think he. I agree. I agree with him in a certain sense. I'm like, damn, this is. It sucks that it's not a democracy, but he's kind of leading. I mean, they haven't died yet, right? So why not? I guess we'll see how it
There you
goes.
go.
It's never a good idea, but maybe in this situation, I've never been in a zombie apocalypse, and I'm like, don't know a lot about it.
You gotta have a leader. You gotta have a team leader. It also wasn't much
Definitely.
democracy beforehand. Like he was, when Randall got out, he was out there barking orders and stuff. So
Hmm.
it was more
He
sort
was
of
already
status quo.
building that
Like
leader sense. Yeah.
there will be no more challenging of my leadership. Otherwise,
Yes.
the Black Shane, basically. Um, but yeah. Well, all right. So your first 4 episodes of Walking Dead finished. We'll get the next batch soon. Like, we're doing
Yep.
this so that you haven't seen any of the rest of it. So we'll get your fresh thoughts and see how they evolve as the
Cool.
show evolves over its 11 seasons. Amidst the technical difficulties, we are back. We survive. We press on.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about season 2. Get your thoughts on it. Edward has departed. He had to bounce and go catch a movie, but I wanted to make sure we talked a bit more about this season and especially the legacy left, since this is the last time we got Shane. And
Yep.
again, after the farm, the show really takes on like a different identity and different pace. So yeah, what were your thoughts revisiting these 2 episodes from season 2?
Yeah, it was good to be back. It's funny because the farm feels like almost like a home in a sense. I mean, it is a home to Herschel and his family,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really when the show just finds its gear and really gets going, and then you have all these different dynamics with everybody.
Yeah, the
And then
group dynamic was very
It
interesting
is-
to like fall back
Yes.
into.
It
Because
is.
obviously it's so different nowadays, or like
Yeah.
later seasons. So
Yeah, it's at the height with the farm, I think, personally.
Mhm.
Well, it's good.
it's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious in the next batch because I think the peak is like season 4 and 5.
Yeah. 4 is my favorite season.
The issue that I think some of those later seasons face, which this one didn't face in terms of episode count, but it gets a little bit of a bad rap of being like very slow, and just like anchored to one spot, like the farm. I just wish, when I was talking before about like HBO, if they had picked it up, like if we just got 10 solid, tight episodes a season, the show would be like 10 times better. Because those later seasons, they do these like filler episodes, or they do these like, oh, we'll just branch off a little group and focus on them, which I thought worked great in season 4, but they like kept doing it, and each time it had like diminishing returns. And I was like, we just need to focus on like our tight main storyline rather than all these like side things going on and random excursions that just aren't that compelling. So yeah, here the part that I like about it is, yeah, they're all on this farm. They're all like sort of centrally focused on this one issue, especially the Sophia episode where it's all about the barn and everyone's like responding to the barn, all the new revelations, all the debates. It's all tied back to this.
Yeah.
And then larger, the idea of like staying on the farm and having protection. So yeah, I just think like that's just so lovely, and it's something that gets lost later in the show. The other thing too was all the characters here, like they felt more grounded and real.
Mhm.
Like I love some of the larger than life characters we get later on, like when we talk about Negan and whatnot. Like he's just very entertaining. And he's sort of putting on a show, so that's like believable. But some of the other things that we get, it's just like so
It's a little ridiculous.
beyond the realm of believability. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
absurd.
Some may say a pet tiger.
Yeah, pet tiger stuff.
Yeah.
Again, Ezekiel is like
That
an
is true of the
act.
comics, though. But still crazy.
But like even season 4, like when it gets to Eugene, and it's like, okay, like there's no way a guy keeps this up this long, like talking like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, here like they feel like real people having just these like basic grounded problems. So I kind of love
And
that.
it's a
Like
simple problem too. Just people, I wouldn't say simple, but a very small scale problem of just a group of zombies in a barn.
yeah,
Away.
and they're protected too. It's like they're like this
Yeah.
wasn't even to our
It's not a
attention
threat.
yesterday. Like it's a contained threat, but just the way Shane takes it, like it becomes the biggest thing in the world. So yeah, I just love how that's going on. Again, the Carol and Daryl, like them having a good moment in this episode. I wish we could talk a little bit about Edward, since obviously Carol and Daryl's dynamic becomes so huge in the show. The Maggie and Glenn stuff, I'm glad that this episode had a lot of stuff there, since it'll be important in later episodes. So yeah, it just had like the shades of all these things that become like so important and crucial later on. We got to see those sneak peeks in here. So yeah, I love the character interactions we got, the tension that we had, even like the conversations of like Rick telling Shane that Lori is pregnant, and then Shane immediately like going and using that information to try and talk to Lori and be like, yeah, like, he didn't protect you. Like he's not not the guy for you in this apocalypse. Like it should be
crazy,
me.
man.
I'm like, that's just insane. But again, just seeing the different ways they want to go about dealing with the barn, dealing with convincing Herschel that they need to stay at the barn or at the farm overall. Yeah, it's just a really, really solid episode.
Yeah. I remember when I first watched it back in like middle school, the Sophia reveal blew me away. I was not expecting that at all when I watched it for the first time.
Yeah, it's in that like iconic moment because it's a kid. And you're like, oh, they'll find the kid at some point, and now she just comes out. She's dead, already a zombie.
And Carol's reaction, just trying to run through the dirt. Oh, so good. And then Rick being the only one that I wouldn't say not being the only one, but being the one to kill her is a good moment for a switch.
For sure.
I think, like it's gonna get rough. It's not just how do we live with each other. It's how do we live in this world now, I think.
So yeah, beautiful episode, great stuff. Like all the things leading up to the Sophia, but obviously the Sophia moment is what makes it so iconic as well.
Yeah,
just a great reveal, great twist. But yeah, and then how about for Better Angels? Obviously iconic for getting the way Shane goes out.
Yes, come on, that whole argument and showdown between Shane and Rick is just incredible, really is. And then we'll have I think it's the actor for Rick, Andrew Lincoln is his name, I believe. We have his iconic like little crying, like just sobbing a little bit.
See a lot of moments of those throughout. I mean, a lot of the episodes we picked have major character deaths. It's just the way things play out. And so a lot of them have Rick just bawling his eyes out. So we're gonna see like the evolution of
his crying,
his sobbing and crying. It's really just how much facial hair he has as he's crying, but
but yeah, it is incredible, especially just the way they argue with each other in the moonlight. Just I love it. It's so perfect with everything they do. I'm trying to think how, like, I remember watching it the first time. I was a little disappointed, not by Shane dying, but how he died. And I was a lot younger then. Now, with a better understanding and life, like it's been like over a decade or close to a decade since I saw it.
Yeah.
So the first time, and I like that he went out the way he did, and not like just a gunshot or something. Like having Rick stab him and everything.
Yeah. Well, that's what feeds into what makes it much more personal too, because Rick had to get in such close range to do it.
Yeah.
But then also it leads into the Jenner thing, which again in the episode after this, Rick tells the crew, which is, hey, we're all infected. So if you die, no matter what, like you don't need to get bitten, but you will turn into a zombie once you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a reveal at the time for the show. And I feel like that's such a like just cultural osmosis thing. Like everyone sort of just like assumes like, yeah, if you die, you become a zombie. But that wasn't the case. Like that wasn't the assumption they had, which is why when Glenn and Daryl come across Randall, they're like, how was he a zombie? He didn't get bit. And they're like, I mean, he had to die from his neck getting broken. So they're piecing it together. And then Rick, walks away from Shane because he doesn't think he's going to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, well, he's the only one that should have known, but he was, too distraught. But no one would have assumed that was the case. So I thought that was like a interesting component as well, that it confirms, if they die no matter what way, they will become a zombie. They need to get put down. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. Any other final thoughts here?
It's seeing, because Herschel becomes one of my favorite characters later on in the show, and seeing how much he changes, or at least the beginning of him and how his character changes, it's really interesting, and I really love it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's such a he's so annoying in season 2. So,
yeah, and that he comes around again, even in just that span, like episode 7, he's so annoying and caught in his ways.
Yeah.
And you see, there's some growth that happens where he's like, hey, me and Rick say what goes on this farm, not Shane. So he like clearly comes around. He invites him into the house. So, he had that change of heart. And for sure, yeah, we'll see. I can't remember how much he's involved in the season 3 episode that we're going to watch. Hopefully he's in there, but he may be like unconscious and everything. So I don't know if Edward's going to be able to get that strong connection with Herschel, because he's just such an awesome character.
Yeah, there will be a moment in season 4.
That'll be the episode we watch for sure. And then season 5, I'm excited to see how he responds to Rick's evolution, because it's great. Because you'll like the season 5 episode we watched. It's like he gives a Shane speech. Like he straight up is just like, like I would have killed every single one of you to take this place. That's what Shane was gonna do with the farm and everything. So, very compelling stuff. But so Herschel's one of your top characters.
Yeah, Herschel's one of my top characters, and
very cool.
Yeah, I love the whole Green family. I believe if I can remember, that is their last name. Yeah,
it is.
Little Glenn and Maggie starting their relationship and all that. Oh, it's just so cute.
It is. It's adorable.
Trying to block out,
what happens later.
La la la! They're so happy.
So we'll get to that. All right. So it'll be but a second for the listener. It'll be a few days for us, and we catch the next 4 episodes, season 3 through 5 of The Walking Dead. All right, I am back with Edward and Hunter for the second batch. The episodes we are talking about today, we have Season 3, Episode 4, Killer Within, Season 4, Episode 8, Too Far Gone, and then 2 episodes from Season 5, the premiere, No Sanctuary, and the finale, Conquer. So, a wide range of episodes this time around. Again, the first 2 seasons, we were limited to just 18 episodes. I think the biggest gap was like 5 episodes between an episode we talked about. The gap between the first episode and the second one, the one from season 3 and season 4, is almost 20 episodes. So definitely going to be talking about a large swath of time in the Walking Dead universe with these seasons here. But let's go to the earliest one, season 3, Killer Within, where they're at the prison and we have some major character deaths and a character birth. So let's talk about that. Edward, your thoughts on Killer Within?
They killed my Shayla. That's what they did, and that was such a brutal episode. I like, going into it, I knew that it would get a little bit more brutal than it had been. It was brutal, but these next 4 episodes that we looked at, yeah, pretty much like the biggest step up in every way, shape, and form. Like even I talk about the makeup in the show, like as it goes into season 3 and season 4, it just gets like unbelievable. Like I was baffled. There's a scene I think in the last episode where Daryl's like under a car and there's like zombies coming at him or walkers coming at him, and they just like look like not like humans. They it's bizarre. It's bizarre. But Killer Within, yeah, that was pretty crazy. Seeing Lori pass away, and give up herself for her kid. Pretty nuts. And just I can tell with the characters, it looked like, was it Maggie that delivers it? I think it was Maggie. And obviously it had a lot of weight, and Carl killing her is like, what? That was Carl. After that, I was like, I think in the last episode I talked about how I didn't really like Carl. He's back. All right. And these episodes we looked at, he's pretty awesome. And so I was floored by him. And Rick is like, throughout these 4 episodes, just gets more and more vile and more like,
oh yeah,
definitely the best character in the show. Because in the first batch we looked at, I was like, he is the main character. He surrounds everything, but there are better. In my opinion, I was like, there's some more better characters. Like I still like love Daryl. Daryl is the guy. But I think this is the one where we were introduced to, or I was at least introduced to the girl who plays Akuye in the Black Panther. Forget her name. I think it's
Michonne. Denai Guerrera.
Yeah, Michonne is awesome as well.
Yeah,
yeah, she's great. But yeah, and Carol, and we also lost T-Dog in this episode, I think too.
We did. Yeah, T-Dog
twice.
Twice.
He does it twice. That was pretty heroic of him. And I think, is this the one where Herschel dies in the next one, right?
Yes, he does in the next one.
Okay, so I'll leave that. But yeah, this was a pretty brutal one, I will say.
For sure. Yeah, what I love about this episode is it just takes you completely by surprise. You think,
yes,
now they finally have established themselves in the prison. We get this little back and forth about there's 2 prisoners still around and they're deciding whether to let them stay or let them walk. So they have that little debate. But then very rapidly it goes from they're establishing their new home to all hell breaks loose. And now T-Dog's just like gone, bitten pretty fairly early in the episode. And then the Lori pregnancy happens, like she's about to give birth, water breaks and everything. And then now that needs to get dealt with. So it's just so much going on in this episode at the prison. And right before this, again, they got to the prison. Herschel, if you notice, when he was like walking around in the beginning, a couple episodes ago, he got bit on like his ankle and they chopped it off. They amputated it. Wow. So now he's been recovering. And so he gets to walk out there. Everyone's like happy. They're all smiling at each other. They're like, nice. This is it. We can finally make our home.
He literally says, don't mean to interrupt you, but he's talking with Carl like, I'll race you in a couple of days and everything.
Yeah.
And then they were running for their lives, racing away from the zombies.
Yeah.
We're everywhere. So yeah, I thought that was just really well done. And then also to kill off Lori, like this is one of the main cast members, Rick's wife. Like you would expect someone like this to stick around for so long, but nope, she's killed in a pretty shocking way, but definitely a nice enough to the character. Like everything she says to Carl there is so impactful, so beautiful, and then the acting as well. We didn't mention this last time, but Sarah Wayne Collins, right, is her name?
Yeah,
Sarah Collins,
Callie,
who
I think, or something like that.
was in Prison Break. Yeah, can you fact check that? What her?
Yeah, it's Sarah
name is?
Wayne Callies.
Sarah Wayne Callies, yeah. And so she was great. I thought that was interesting because you mentioned her as like one of your favorites, probably because you have that relationship with the actress. But Lori, Hunter knows this, is despised among the Walking Dead.
She is
fan base. And you'll see. I mean, you saw some of the reasons. Again, the whole Shane thing. Maybe wait a few more than a few weeks to start getting with your dead husband's best friend.
Yeah.
But
A little bit,
it's a apocalypse, so
gotta do what you gotta do.
But yeah, that contributed
her
to
follows some pretty episodes as well, I will say, which you didn't experience, Edward. But Rick dealing with her death. Some of those episodes are a little rough.
Well, and the acting in this episode, I think, was enough. Like his like reaction alone, like when they come out and it's just the kid and Carl and Maggie, is like Jesus.
Which is terrible that it's the same with like Breaking Bad, where certain scenes get memed so much. And I'm like, everyone's gonna be watching this. He's gonna be laughing when it's like the most cringy thing.
No, I actually was very like I felt as soon as like she said that she wanted to, kill herself in place of her kid. I was like, damn, this is like emotional, and I was like, I felt it, and it was really interesting to see like how like you said, there's probably a lot of filler episodes that I haven't seen or anything, but like the way we're going through the show, especially like the episodes that I'm seeing, like I'm getting enough context to like really enjoy everything, which is really cool. It maybe that's a test to the show of like being all eggs in one show or one episode or whatever, but like I would hope not. I hope there's some sprinkle of good elsewhere, but we also got a Yondu.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot that he pops up in this episode because I was like, dang, it's gonna be a shame he's never gonna get to see Michael Rooker coming in here. But yeah, he shows up. Andrea is at Woodbury, and that's where Merle pops back up as well. So yeah, you got to see him at least once, one and only.
Yeah.
He does not come back around. And then you got to see Michonne as well. And again, I think it's really cool how some of these episodes tie in together nicely with the next, because you see Michonne and the governor having that conversation. Michonne's very skeptical of him. And then obviously that comes back around in the following episode where she's the one that stabs him through the chest, puts him down basically.
Oh my God.
Such a beautiful way to close that out. So yeah, moving on to Too Far Gone, season 4.
Peak. I adore this freaking episode so much. Even when I first watched it, I'm like, I was floored with just evoking every kind of emotion. With just the crazy hecticness, a literal tank shooting.
What do you think that, Edward, when the tank showed up? She's like, yeah, there's a tank there. Why not?
It's like, yeah, sure.
It was at this point that we had discovered Edward was dropped from the call, so we had to work on getting him back before we could continue the discussion. But I just want to put on the record that at no point in the intervening moments when you're trying to get Edward back on the call, at no point was gas passed, at least audibly.
The tank, Edward.
What do you think? The tank goes crazy. All of like the special effects in that are just awesome. Like all the holes in the just like in the background exploding. Just I love big explosions. Big explosions. This was by far the best episode that we've watched. No doubt. With them meeting him or coming to the coming
Prison.
to the prison. I don't really understand anything outside of that because I don't have any of the context from like
Yeah, you don't know
from
why he's
them
upset.
coming. Yeah, I don't know any of that, but I can see that he is a horrible, horrible person and not fun. And then his daughter, like that was crazy. Or daughter or kid
Well,
or
that's what's
someone.
fun. So
That's
some
yeah.
some of the
Better break the news to
context you were
him.
missing is that wasn't his daughter, but it was definitely
Okay.
like a stand-in, daughter, because he did have a young daughter
Okay.
around that same age, and
Mm-hmm.
he even mentions it in this episode, I think.
He does. He
Um,
does. Saying that they killed his daughter.
yeah, but here's the thing:
Ah,
his
yes.
daughter was a zombie. It was a walker. He kept his walker daughter in the closet, and then one famous like scene is him brushing her hair,
Brushing
and
her
like
hair.
part of her hair comes out of the skull because it's not healthy hair of a living human being. So
Jeez.
he's a little messed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's
when Andrea in the previous episode is getting charmed by him a little bit, yeah, quickly fades away. And as you'll notice, Andrea was not in this episode.
Yes.
She gets killed. He's not very happy when people try and leave his group. So
Mhm. Yeah, that was wild. I do Bob. Bob is a great character too. I think he's in The Wire. He's from The
oh,
Wire,
nice.
and so I knew him like off the bat. I was like, oh, that's a familiar face. And he was really cool. Yeah, just the whole meeting, and then when it all finally like
all
blows
hell
up,
breaks loose.
figuratively and literally, is pretty wild. But the kid with how she's digging in the mud and everything gets his like jacket
Mhm.
messed up, and he's like, "Nah, it's fine." And then
You
she
made it
ends up,
better.
yeah, exactly. And then she ends up getting a little bit of medicine in the and that was wild. Did not expect there to be just a giant walker after you see a flash flood sign. That was pretty cool. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
great episode. Really good.
Yeah.
I
All
like the
the
the way that this one particularly you start to see Rick and how, and in the later episodes too, like where he falls on the morality scale and what he's willing to do to protect his group and his people. And so
Yep.
the governor is a good foil for that because he even says to Lily, who's the mother of that girl, he's like, I don't care what you think about me as long as you're alive. Like it's all about surviving basically. So it's like,
Mhm.
I'm going to take this prison, hopefully peacefully, but if people need to die, I'll do it.
Right.
Um, and then you see Rick is trying to reason with him. He's like, no one has to die. We don't have to go through this. You can come into the prison, live with us. He starts appealing to each of the people in the governor's group. And is like,
Mhm.
hey, you don't want this. You don't want this. Like we've
Yep.
had people from the governor's group come in before. Now they're leaders. You also saw earlier, he kept saying, he's like, we have a council now. I don't make the
Yeah,
decisions.
yeah.
So
He's
the
like
dictatorship
faking
has
it. Yeah,
ended.
yeah.
The
Yes.
dictatorship is done. Democracy has been restored. Um, and you even see he is, the words of the episode, like, we're not too far gone. We can still come back. And Herschel, who has his epic beard now,
Yes.
one of the best
Liar.
characters in the show is that beard. And then, yeah, so we see Herschel being proud of Rick. That's like part of the dynamic that you don't get to see is, Herschel's trying to be the moral compass, the like wise guide for Rick, helping him
And
keep
even
his
the
humanity.
governor, sorry to interrupt, even the
No,
governor
go ahead.
early in the episode in the trailer, says, you're a good man, Herschel. And when he's trying to reason with him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But so yeah, Herschel's proud of Rick for doing what he could to try and like make peace there. But
Yeah.
the governor ain't about it. So we get that liar and then that big swing of Michonne's sword too. How brutal
Mhm.
to use someone else's weapon like that to kill
Yep.
someone she cares about.
Yeah, I think it's really
Vicious.
interesting how the show like does the whole, Rick has like a lot of dilemmas in the show, obviously like morally and, um and it feels like every villain kind of plays into his morality and kind of plays into saying, okay, well, how far are you willing to go? Like it keeps going farther and farther and he keeps like stepping back farther and farther. It's not stepping back as in like, you know, he's not coming close to these people. I mean, eventually he does, right, in the later episodes that we've watched, but I also find it really interesting that this episode was directed by Ernest Dickerson. I thought that, like, I checked the page after I watched it, and I was like, "Holy shit! This is made by Spike Lee's cinematographer." That was really cool. I
Hmm.
really like Ernest Dickerson's work, and I kind of see it bleed through with all of, like, there's a lot of split shots where it's like, people in the foreground and stuff happening in the background. Love his work there. But yeah, by far the best episode we've watched. A lot of moving pieces, and I think it all really, really works.
Yeah, and it's so significant for the series overall because really up to this point, aside from maybe one or two characters branching off if they're in Woodbury, like with Andrea, the gang has always been together.
Mhm.
This mid-season finale kicked off the final part of season 4 where they're all split. Like each episode is a different group. They all get in their small little groups together. So you see some of them run off, like Daryl and Beth, Maggie, Bob and Sasha, Rick and Carl, obviously, and they link up with Maggie, or not Maggie, Michonne right after that. So we just get these little snippets of them all sort of on their own, which I think is just like structurally looking at the series from, way up high. I think it's just a great way to approach that. Like they were a team, they were a group, they were surviving together. Now split them off. Are they going to be able to come back together? Who's not going to be able to make it there? And then how are they going to be tested when they're not all, keeping each other accountable? So we see some characters go even further than they've gone before. And part of that is a clip that I showed you. I sent to you is from the season finale of
Yes.
season 4, where famously Rick, in his iconic murder jacket, goes ahead and takes a bite out of someone's neck.
So chomp chomp, kind of hungry.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that was pretty cool. Just seeing, a human do that, and I was like, oh, I kind of
Yeah.
get the show now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get that moment, and then we see afterwards as well, because it's Michonne, Daryl, and Carl there, and then that zoom in on Carl at the end. Again, the video I sent you isn't like too great for it, but if you were to see it on the actual TV and the way it's supposed to be, they do that like long, nice zoom in into Carl watching Rick like tear this guy alive that was gonna sexually assault him, and then you see that like darkness coming through of like, yes, like they deserve this is
Yeah.
what they get. And so that level of ruthlessness that they're willing to dispatch onto people that certainly deserve it with how they threaten other people and how they have lost their own humanity. We see that coming into season 5, No Sanctuary. So again, Hunter, you can probably speak to this, right? Did you start watching going into season 5?
I started going into season 6 is when I started watching.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah.
dude, the hype going into like season 5, because again, knowing like this is our group now, like they will not take none of this. So they all get captured by the people at Terminus, and so they're in that train car. But we know there's gonna be hell to pay once they get out of that train car. So we see it in No Sanctuary. But yeah, talk about other villains and like people out in the world that are totally losing their humanity. Other people are trying to take bites out of other humans. We got some cannibals. So,
Yeah, that was jarring, and it reminded me of like The Last of Us when in Last of Us Part 2 with the I forget what they were called, but those people that hung these people from the rafters and
Seraphites, I believe.
What is like isn't there like a shorter name for them?
the scars.
The scars, yes, the scars. Reminded me of them a little bit, and like just how like brutal they are with like the whole draining of the blood, and then they're like hanging these people,
But how
to dry.
nonchalant they are about it too,
Yeah, incredibly.
They're whacking people with the bat and slitting their throats. And it's like,
Yes,
Jesus.
yes. I'm sure, Ryan, you were quaking at Glenn being next the entire time.
What's so funny rewatching all these episodes is I'm like, they really made it hard to be a Glenn fan. He almost dies every single episode. In season 4, you saw like the aftermath, but he gets sick. There's a whole like infection that spreads throughout season 4, and he's sick. So that's why he's on his like deathbed. And he's like consoling him. I'm like, so he's about to be dead there. he's about to be dead in this episode, and Conquer as well. He gets shot. He's about to die. I'm like, they just try and kill him every like episode.
And,
Like,
and not only
wow.
that, it'll happen again.
Yeah, and he's like the guy with the moral compass. Like he's the only guy that's like truly true. Like even in the clip you sent where they're in the church, he's in the background just like in like shock at what Rick is doing to this person.
But also in the No Sanctuary episode when they're escaping and he's with Rick and Daryl and they see that train car that's locked and he's like, you know, it's who we are. We have to help them.
Right, yeah. That was that really showed me that he's the moral compass of this whole thing. You know, he's kind of, I think maybe John Bernthal's character, Shane, was kind of like the one end, right? of Rick, and then Glenn is the other end, and Daryl's somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah.
Because Daryl's kind
his
of
bro. He's like,
Daryl's his right hand man. I thought it was cool too, seeing like even an episode in the season 3 episode, you see Rick like looking to Daryl, and Daryl will do like a nod of like yes or no or whatever. So he already became like the right hand man pretty quickly after Shane disappeared.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Daryl, we see a little bit of his relationship with Carol at the end of No Sanctuary when he sees Carol for the first time and he just beelines it straight to her and hugs her and picks her up literally off the ground.
Yeah.
They have a very,
also, let's talk about it. Carol
is a badass.
MVP.
Badass, dude.
She was so cool. Good.
Did you, because Edward, you saw the first 2 seasons of this and Carol's there, obviously, but so different, like so passive and, you know, she was the housewife and she's not even out looking for Sophia. Like she would be waiting for Daryl or whoever to go out and look for her daughter. Dude, season 4 and 5 Carol is just peak. She's so cool, so awesome. Single-handedly goes in, wrecks shop at Terminus, saves all of them.
Saves
the fireworks. Oh my god.
Yeah, uses the fireworks, uses the guts trick.
As walking amongst the dead.
Walking amongst the dead, as they say.
And then even that the way she takes out that one lady who confronts her, like shoots her in the leg, and then just like, I'm just gonna let the zombies feast on you because, like, you know, you're a cannibal, so you deserve to get eaten alive too. That speaks to the themes of this episode overall, and like what we see with pretty much all these episodes in this batch of Rick, and like how far he's gonna go, and who amongst the group is gonna be there with him, and who's gonna try and pull him back. So like Glenn trying to pull him back, and Carol definitely is the one that's, you know, ride or die with like, we gotta do what we gotta do. But with No Sanctuary, I love the cold open and then the closer where it's, you see that Gareth and his group, like the Terminus, the cannibal people, had been overtaken by another group of people that were even like more vicious. I mean, because at that time, Gareth and his group seemed to be decent, and then they had to take back their community in whatever way they did. In doing so, you know, you're the butcher, the cattle. So now they became the butchers, and they started luring other people there. And so it's a great way to frame, you know, Rick and his group. Like, are they also going down a path that's too dark, like where they're no longer going to be the decent people, and they're going to be the people that, you know, slaughter the decent people. So here we see them, you know, fight their way out, take down the cannibals, which is great, but with some of the decisions Rick wants to make, like leaving behind other innocent people we think would be innocent in those train cars, and then wanting to go back and kill them all. Like, that's a Shane maneuver right there, when he was like, all right, let's grab these guns, let's go back, it's not over till they're all dead. And everyone else was like, what are you talking about? Like, it's over, we're out, the fence is down, they'll be killed. And he's like, nope, we got to go back and make sure they're dead. Very hardcore. So yeah, I just love the way that they were able to bring up those ideas and those themes. So I don't know, again, Too Far Gone is iconic, but No Sanctuary, just, it hits so well.
Yeah, and in the end where he paints the no on the sanctuary.
No Sanctuary there is beautiful. And then the whole Tyrese storyline as well, you know, follows on that. Like, can Tyrese still be this good-hearted, like gentle, non-killing person? And the dude that he's there with is like, you can't. Like, this is why you're gonna die. The baby's gonna die because you're not.
Yeah,
brutal. You're not ruthless.
Yeah, like that was rough to watch when he's like has the kid in his hands, and then he
Yeah.
goes outside, and you think, oh well, there he goes, and then he comes back in and just that was just awesome.
That was
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
But
Mm-hmm.
if you notice from that other clip, which we'll get to in a bit, Tyrese didn't actually follow through and kill him. So we'll chat about that. But this episode is also nice because it's one of the few that's like, it's just happy. It's a major episode, but no one dies that we care
Nope.
about. No one on our team is dead.
Nope.
Carol and Daryl have their iconic reunion. Beautiful. Rick also embraces Carol. Some context you were missing, Edward, right before Too Far Gone. Rick banishes Carol because she was for the good of the group, but she was killing sick people to stop the infection from spreading. And Rick was like, "That's a no-no." So he sent her off, and they hadn't seen her since. So since before Too Far Gone, they hadn't met. And then same with Rick reuniting with Judith, the baby, because as you saw, we just saw the like baby carrier, but no baby.
Yes,
And
I
they're
remember
with
that.
Tyrese and Carol. And then Tyrese and Sasha, reunite as well. So very cool stuff there. So it's just like it ends on a happy note. Our gang is all back together. Maybe an
Yep.
asterisk in there, Hunter knows, but we don't have to bring that up. Our missing green sibling in there. But yeah, pretty much the whole gang's back together and it's all good. So yeah, let's move on to that other clip I sent you, which comes from episode 3 of season 5, Four Walls and a Roof, where we see Rick get to kill Gareth and the rest of the cannibals in very brutal fashion in the
Yeah.
house of the Lord. So what are you thinking of that, Edward?
I always love scenes where you have something going on and then you have other people reacting. I think that was like just amazing. Like I was talking with Glenn, I think Tyrese also is in the reactions where it kind of shows the real brutality of like you're not really showing them actually like destroying this poor guy. I guess not poor guy because he was an asshole.
Yeah.
But like it shows the humanity of all of the people that really like maybe you showed me the other clip where was it Morgan talks about the passiveness and
The weak.
and the weak
Yeah.
and it really shows the weak versus the strong. I wouldn't even say strong weak. It's just in an apocalypse. What are you going to do? But just to survive. But yeah, I thought that was just pretty insane how the reactions really show more than actually showing the murders or them killing them. But yeah, we'll get to Morgan in a minute because I haven't seen much of him, but he is already like top 5. He's pretty awesome. He's awesome.
Donatello for real. That's insane. So yeah, we'll talk about the finale of season 5, Conquer, where we do get the return of Morgan. But I wanted to send you that clip because I just want to give you some context. Like we did see Morgan again after the pilot. It was in season 3. And also because the acting in that clip is sensational.
Crazy.
Like insane. Remarkable.
Yeah, where is his Emmy? Where is it?
That's what I'm saying.
I need to go find
it. Ridiculously good. And so we learn in that his son Dwayne has died because he wasn't able to shoot his wife, his zombie wife, which was in the pilot. So I just love that, how they like brought that back around and showed that him not being able to make that decision is, what cost him his son as well. And so, yeah, he's just completely lost it, gone off the deep end there. But yeah, just beautiful performance, really interesting direction to take that character. And then now they bring him back for season 5 and he's changed dramatically. So now he's no longer, going crazy. He's very peaceful and zen and calm and calculated, and now a pacifist and also a pole staff master.
Just an absolute badass. Yeah, he especially he's just like sitting at that campfire and just eating, and then the guy comes up to him and he's like, yeah, you probably don't want to do that, just let's not. And then the guy tries to come up behind him, and he just absolutely just destroys all of it. I mean, it was awesome. Yeah, no, he's a great character. And then obviously later in the episode, they meet again, but yeah, it was pure peak
Yes, he unfortunately gets banished to spinoff.
Oh, that's so sad.
Does
He
Which
does.
spinoff is he in?
Fear the Walking Dead.
Okay.
But
Does the Okuya, does she also get banished? Because I know she's also in some of like the spinoffs, right?
That's a spinoff like after the original show. Fear
Oh,
the
okay.
Walking Dead was in concurrent with
In cahoots. Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the actual show as well.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so we have Morgan in here, and I just wanted to use his character and his arrival, with the new staff and everything, to highlight one of the changes from the first batch to the second batch, where now we're getting, things that are a little more. It is a comic book originally, right? The Walking Dead. So now we're getting more like comic booky genre things of everyone's got their own special weapon. Joan's got her sword. Daryl, of course, has had the crossbow. Rick has had his python. Or was it the Colt Magnum or whatever it is?
It's like the Colt, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And then, now we have Morgan has this staff, and characters more and more sort of have their like specific item and thing. And then
Glenn has his heart.
Very true.
Glenn.
Lovely. And you see more, intense action stuff and more intense like zombie things. We saw flaming zombies coming out of the soil and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is definitely the best.
I was going to say,
directed show. Like, it's one of the best directed episodes of the show so far that I've seen. Like, as in, like, it is. You can tell the budget has been expanded and approved.
Yeah,
it's like it's just there's so much. Like I said, the makeup is just so much better. The shots just look so much better. Everything like
done very well with like the Walking Dead. The walkers, their actual makeup prosthetics.
Crazy.
Like they've always done well with that. But I do have issues, and Hunter, I'm sure, does too, with like how they've used the budget in other places, because it could have been so much better. Again, looking at like Last of Us, which obviously has movie-sized budgets, but it's like Walking Dead was huge. It should have been getting at least the biggest amount of budget you could for a cable television show, and they were skimping them pretty often, which was unfortunate. But
who was the frat parents? I don't know. They were in that house. It was the guy with like the really nice button up. Like he looked clean. I forget.
He dies at the end.
He dies at the end of the episode. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Accidentally dies. They're annoying. I don't even know who these people are. Like the guy with the sick handlebar mustache was fire. I don't know what his name is either, but he was in a couple of the previous episodes and just
Abraham.
Abraham, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I love Abraham.
I love Abraham, dude.
Yeah. So, but like,
he's
I didn't really
action figure.
Really,
it is. But yeah, stuff like that where he's like very specifically like, okay, macho military man with country accent saying, all these
like a wrestler,
colorful metaphors. So
Eugene, as your typical
Eugene, exactly.
Scientist.
So how do you feel about that? Like both of you, Edward and Hunter, like rewatching it for you, because there's like a notable shift, I feel like, between the first batch and the second batch, where it goes from like very grounded, these real people just figuring out how to survive, and then now again we have action figures, we have comic book characters, we have special weapons, we have special moves and stuff like that. So do you still enjoy that, or you're like, nice, this is my genre Walking Dead show, so it makes sense?
I love it. I think like this batch versus the other batch, this batch was significantly better. Not saying that the other batch was bad or anything, but I think the development reached a point where it was like, okay, these characters, we're gonna start doing some shit with them. And the first 4 that we watched, I was kind of just seeing how they develop and everything. And now we're just sitting with these characters, and now we're living with them, and seeing less development and more just stuff happening, right? Just big set pieces, big things that are happening. I really enjoyed that. And like you said, like the comic book aspect, I think it's cool. I think it's really good. I'm afraid that after this, it's gonna...
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Because this is the peak of the show for you, right? You're like, this is the
peak of 4 is the peak of the show. Prison is the peak of the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that was peak. Yeah, I think even the end of this episode, I was like, okay, that was cool, but like I don't know if I care a lot. Like, there's a lot of people in this now where I'm just like, there's too many people I don't
Yeah,
know.
again, there's like a
You
big
know?
gap. So the
Yeah.
new people, like, again, if you notice or didn't notice, Tyrese died in the meantime.
Yeah.
Talking about people like Noah that has been introduced and died in the
Oh,
meantime.
Noah.
Yeah, that was Everybody Hates Chris guy. That was
Yeah.
the actor for that.
Wow,
Given for
really?
Noah,
No way.
died very quickly.
Amazing character, though.
And they just made it to Alexandria, so this new safe community.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of new characters there, like Deanna and whatnot. So they're getting used to them. But yeah, I love the reason why I chose this episode in particular is because of the very ending, and we'll get to that soon. But overall, this episode I think was great as another way to mark Rick's progression and where
Sure.
he is. Because again, a lot of Shane tendencies coming through here. You remember in the Sophia episode in season 2 where Herschel, who runs that farm, he doesn't want guns out and about. So Dale is the one that's like protecting all the guns in the RV, and Shane gets all pissed and tries to go and find the guns and like threatens to take it from Dale. Rick is doing the same thing here, where he's like, okay, this community, our hosts want us to hand over the guns. I'm not going to do it. I don't trust them. I trust myself more. So he steals some guns from the armory.
A little bit of dictatorship, a little bit. No.
Yeah, exactly. And then, there he's waking up there. He got beaten up. You get to hear, what happened. Something went down the other day. He pointed the gun at some people. Michonne took him out. And now here they are the day after. They all come in, and Rick is like, so, yeah, we'll talk with them. But if things go wrong, you grab this person, you grab this person. And then we'll threaten to slit their throats. Like, he just says it so casually. And Glenn is like Terminus, like, what are we doing here? And he's like, we're not actually going to do it. We're just going to, make them think that. And then when it's over, we'll have the armory. We'll take over this place. So he's doing, again, like a Shane tactic. Like, we'll talk with these people. Shane wouldn't talk with them. So at least Rick is like, yeah, we'll do the forum. But if they kick me out, then we'll take over. So he's definitely drifted from that initial perspective. And then Carol, again, also being MVP, her, and you missed some of the episodes, Edward, where she like really leans into this, but obviously we know by this point she's so hardcore.
Yeah.
But she takes on like the sweet, like library lady of she's wearing sweater vests and she's baking cookies and giving them to everyone. So she's like putting on this whole front to the community, which is so perfect. And then, yeah, she goes to Pete and threatens him in just such an incredible way, which you also missed the context for this, Edward. But in season 1 with Carol, like her husband was there, Sophia's father, terrible dude, wife beater, like a literal wife beater. And so we see Carol back then who, after Shane beats up Ed, that was the guy's name, one of the great things Shane did. You see Carol like go and start sobbing over Ed. Like that was how she was locked in that abusive relationship. And so to see her growth, where now she's confronting this other abuser, Pete, and is basically like, come at me, like try and get me, because she knows she can take this guy down.
Yeah.
Like that's just beautiful to see. So yeah, Carol, once again, MVP of these seasons, like season 4 and 5. She's just so good. So good.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, it's not that this is bad or anything. I can just see where this show is going to start to like take a little bit of a dive. It's not like comparing. It's hard to compare it to the 2 best episodes that we watched before, No Sanctuary and Too Far Gone, but I couldn't help but notice like a little bit of dip in quality in this episode, although it is still great, especially for a season finale, right? It's like,
yeah, I think it's also because it's not built around a single set piece, and there's also a lot of like I wrote down like characters that are doing other things in their subplots that will be like nonsense to you because you haven't seen like the past few episodes.
right,
like
right.
Maggie doing her like diplomacy stuff is supposed to set up her becoming a leader. Glenn and Nicholas, that's the guy that shoots him. There's a thing before where Nicholas was like a coward and got Noah killed. And so that's like part of Glenn's arc there. Sasha and Gabriel are both like crashing out. Father Gabriel and Sasha, they're both like trying to kill themselves constantly. And it's like, okay, you don't have the context for that. And and then Abraham and Eugene as well. Like Tara, who maybe you remember from Too Far Gone, she was part of the governor's crew.
The
Like,
one
not
who
about it.
didn't want to shoot.
Yeah, she didn't want to be part of it.
I thought she was the Fire Walk with Me girl, the Laura's friend. I like for a long time I was looking at her and I was like, this is the girl from Fire Walk with Me, but it's not.
I can kind of see that.
It's a little bit. She was obviously a little bit younger.
So it's like,
but
yeah, she's on the bed, sick, and then Abraham and Eugene are hashing it out, which you heard a little in No Sanctuary, but Eugene was saying that he had the cure and he needed to be escorted to Washington, D.C.
Yes.
But then it's revealed he doesn't have the cure. He was making it up. He was lying.
That boy's a liar.
And so that happened recently, and Abraham was obviously pissed because he dedicated his whole like life in the apocalypse to try and get Eugene to Washington, D.C. But so yeah, I'm like, these are subplots that are going on, which are good because they're culminations for the season finale. But I'm like, Edward's not going to have any investment in any of this stuff.
No, I totally didn't. But
so that's why I was like, we got to hold to the Rick storyline because that one clearly there's the through line of like, is he going to be, dictatorship? Is he going to take this community that's safe and has promise but doesn't know how to survive and like force them to fall under him? And we see with that speech at the end, he like shows a walker and he tells them, bloodied and everything, and he's like, yeah, I was thinking, how many do I have to kill to save your lives? Everyone's like, Rick, phrase that better.
Dead
and he's
alive.
like,
you're still coming in,
And I love his delivery too of like, but I'm not going to do that. You're going to change. It's like he's giving them an out of like, one way or another, like I'm going to be leading this show, but you're going to come with me. Like you are going to survive in this new world. You're going to have to learn. And then the whole thing with Pete shows up with the sword, cuts that guy's neck. And then she gives the go ahead to Rick. No hesitation.
Yeah.
Shoots him dead immediately. And then you just hear, Rick, look up. It's Morgan. And I just love that. Like that ending has always stuck with me. It's one of my favorite moments in the show because that like perfectly encapsulates how much Rick has changed, how much he's had to go through, and how much he's had to like push himself to be willing to do as a leader to survive and make sure the people around him survive. Because he sees his day one companion, Morgan, the guy who saved his life all that time ago. Here they are, 5 seasons later. Morgan is now all about peace and pacifism. And Rick, bloodied, just giving a speech saying you all are either going to die or you're going to learn what I need to teach you. Shoots a man dead in front of everyone, public execution. It's just like a perfect encapsulation of how he's changed throughout the whole show. So I love that. I've always loved that ending. I was like, this is so good. Like I can't wait for that conversation afterwards where Morgan's like, bruh, what happened to you?
Well, and I think there's another conversation with the people, the guy that dies at this episode where I think it's Maggie, where she's like, they're at the house and she's like,
caveman.
Yeah, and she's like, we've all lost people, but like, we've lost more. Sorry, Rick has lost a lot.
Like you have no idea what
you have no idea. He lost his wife. Yeah, he actually lost his baby for a little bit too. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he had to kill his best friend who was trying to kill him.
Yeah, killed his best friend. Yeah,
slept with his wife.
Yeah. I mean, just like you have no idea.
And maybe that's shot.
Maybe that's like more of a testament to like the show of like you don't know what happened to these people. Like you have no idea, and everyone comes from a different like you said, there's a bunch of subplots and everyone's. But I don't get that, so I'm seeing like everyone come together and be like, no, I have the worst trauma. No, I have the worst trauma. Right? Like, it's like I don't personally know because I'm not I haven't seen the whole show, but it's still interesting to see. Okay, now Rick, in my opinion, has the worst trauma, right?
For sure. All right. So to wrap up, I want to gauge where some of your character rankings are. So who are your top characters at the moment, now that we've seen the second batch?
Rick is number one. He's taken the number one spot, for sure. I still really like Daryl, even though like these episodes haven't really shown like any of his development. He's kind of just a badass.
Yeah, he just needs to be there, shoot his crossbow, and ride his motorcycle. I'm chilling.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Where I'm like, he can ride his bike. You know, this guy, these prisoners are like, hey, I can fix your bike. It's like, no, he doesn't need that. He's a badass.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. I really like Daryl. Obviously Carol too. Daryl, Carol, Rick. Those are my three, and then I'd say round out the top five. Morgan is up there as well, and then a five spot. I'd say Michonne. Michonne. I never know how to pronounce it. Is it Michonne?
You're kicking out Glenn?
I know.
I'm kicking out Glenn just because one, the development I haven't really seen. He hasn't really done much in these episodes besides try to die.
Yeah, slowly kind of
and have a heart. Okay.
Yeah.
He has a heart. I get that.
And
he's probably
3,
6.
he's just
Yeah, he's probably 6, but the badassery has kicked up my liking in Michonne, in Carol, in Rick. And then Daryl. Those are the badasses. So those are my favorite.
What are your thoughts on Maggie?
Maggie, she I think she's pretty cool. She's, again, like, I don't have a lot of the context for her character, I think, but I still think she's a strong character. And when she speaks, I believe what she's saying. I think she's trustworthy, and she's, she helped deliver a goddamn baby, which was pretty insane. She's like, yeah, just see this mark on me. Yeah, that's the just cut me open. It's like, she's like, what I didn't learn this. And she's like, but I'll do it, I guess.
Big fan favorite character there.
Yeah, Hunter, who's your top 5?
Come on.
At this point, we're showing the batch. For this batch specifically.
This batch, Rick, Carol.
Yep.
I mean, come on. Yep. Is it just for the ones I've seen, or like with my prior context of having seen them?
Just, I would say, like, with this batch, like this stretch of the show, who's on top?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rick, Carol, then Michonne, Daryl, and Glenn.
My boy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I gotta go Rick. In this stretch of episodes, like, it's Carol number 2, and then Glenn. Again, I love Abraham. In these particular episodes, you don't see much of his stuff, but like this batch, like seasons 4 and 5, I love him in there. And then, Daryl's great and Michonne's great, so they might be tied for 5th in there.
Yeah,
but yeah, who's your least favorite character though, Edward?
Least favorite character?
You may need to describe them because you may not have their face.
I might not have face. The people that die at the end of this episode, the end of, they suck. I could just tell they suck. Like, I could just tell they were like on a little high horse in the apocalypse.
Survivors.
Yeah.
They're
your typical HOA people.
Right.
That's so true. I hate Gabriel. I don't
really. I was gonna say I also don't like Gabriel because he tried to kill himself in, I think it was Conquer, and then he just ends up killing the. I was like, okay, well then, that's kind of pussy. I mean, like, if you're gonna man up, you're gonna do it, right?
Yeah. He is a very annoying character when he's introduced.
Yes.
Same with Eugene. Both very annoying characters when they're introduced.
See, he's great in The Wire. Eugene, I thought it was an interesting flavor. He annoying later on. We'll see. Now that if we watch the next batch, we'll watch the next batch. I'll see how I feel about him then. But
I want to give a special shout out, and I always forget his name. Ross Marquand's character, the guy who was with
Aaron. Yes.
Yeah.
He's cool.
He's cool.
I like the actor like more than the character a lot of the times, but yeah, he's
fair.
Cool.
Gets points for me.
That's kind of where I was
like 50 different people in Invincible.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Dude, he is like everybody in Invincible.
Right. Who do you think is dying in the next batch, Edward? More importantly, who do you know isn't dead?
Who do I know
isn't survives? Yeah.
Okay, well, Rick, Daryl, Michonne, I know probably survive most of it. I don't have very good hope for Glenn just because he's been almost dying every episode
Been
that I've
knocking
seen.
on
So
death's door
Yeah.
every chance he
exactly. So
gets.
I mean, eventually he's going to answer. So I think that's going to happen. I don't have a good feeling about Carol, unfortunately.
Mm.
And I also don't like everyone else besides those three, Daryl, Rick, and Michonne. It's up for grabs. I don't know who's going to die. I think everyone else is kind of expendable at this point. Where take this with a grain of salt always because I don't have all of the context, but I don't really care about any other characters except for the main like 5 or 6.
Mm.
So if they die, I'm not going to have an emotional attachment. Even like I had an emotional attachment to Lori, and like you said, like she's a hated character because of her past and how she, technically cheated on Rick, but like not really, kind of, but real not really.
Well, it's
I
that and it's
still,
other things
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
I still felt a really strong emotional attachment. It was probably because of Prison Break, just because
Yeah.
I like the actor. Where you were saying like how I like the actor more than the character, where it's like I think her dying is more of me watching Prison Break and seeing her in that. But like, yeah, I don't have any hope for Abraham, Eugene. And I would really hope Morgan survives. Really hope he would survive just because he's really cool and I would like to see more of him.
Well, you know
But
where you
Gabe,
can find him if you want to see more of
and the
him.
others, God damn it. But yeah, Sasha, Gabriel, they can go. Maybe
Alright.
they'll finally. Maybe I think they'll
And
probably
if
have
you're
like
placing money on one
those.
person,
Those,
but one
yeah,
person, select one person, they're like, they will die this
they
next
will.
batch.
Sasha's gonna die.
Okay. Dang. You think she's finally going to get her wish?
Yeah,
And kill herself.
maybe that's like a really bad odds where they've been trying to die this whole show and then they actually end up surviving. Maybe that's the case, but
We'll see.
I'm betting my money on
Do we want to
Sasha.
share with Edward Bob what happens to Bob?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you have any questions, Edward, about characters or what goes on? Because Bob did not make it far.
Yeah,
Didn't.
give
Can't
me
go
Bob.
back, Bob. Can't go
Yeah.
back.
Give me the scoop on Bob.
Go ahead.
Okay. This is vague memory. I know the big thing. Cannibal people are eating his like leg, right?
Yeah, I think his arm
They're
or
eating
something.
his arm or leg, and then he's just there, and he's like, "Yeah, y'all are fucked. I'm infected, bro. You're eating infected meat."
He said,
Oh my.
I'm tainted meat. And then
Yeah.
they were all like, ugh. So, yeah, he took out like half that cannibal crew from,
wow.
from them just eating them without checking. You would think cannibals would be like, okay, let's do a
Let's
body
make
check
sure.
here. Let's scan
Like,
everywhere here.
yeah.
Make sure he's got
Well,
no infections, bites, but nah.
yeah.
They were
That's
hungry.
crazy.
They said, let's get right to it.
Yeah, right. What about Beth? Where is Beth right now?
You do remember Beth. Wow.
Beth.
Yes.
Yeah, she didn't make it.
Nope.
She
Yeah.
she was at this place. It was like a hospital
Yeah.
run by a bunch of cops or whatever. But I don't think they were actually cops. I think a lot of them just put on the uniform afterwards. But some of them were cops. Because Rick like has a back and forth with one of them.
Mhm.
But anyway, so Beth, they were doing a trade. They were giving back one of the cops they took in exchange for Beth. But Beth really did not like the head honcho cop lady that was there. And so decides to try and stab her with a pair of scissors and then gets shot in the head. And then Daryl shoots her in the head.
It's like a reactionary kind of shot.
Yeah.
Not like a,
It's like a boom boom.
And then, which is brutal, because I told you everyone was having reunions. The only reunion that hadn't happened yet was Maggie and Beth, the two sisters. And so Maggie gets told they found Beth, are doing the exchange. So she shows up to the hospital right as Daryl walks out with
carrying her dead
Beth lifeless in his arms.
Oh, jeez.
Terrible.
And-
so talk about trauma. Maggie's
got
up there. Rick and Maggie,
Yeah.
I think. We'll talk more about at the end of it, but I think
She saw
they're
her dad's head get sliced.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's not even counting, like, all the people at the farm.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of people died there too. Like, it was only Herschel, Beth, and Maggie afterwards, but there were more people living on that farm in season 2, so her whole family had been wiped out.
And to give more context with Beth as well, her and Daryl had a nice little relationship kind of going on.
Yeah, I told you they have
not like a connection
episodes where they branch off. It was Death and Daryl Beth and Daryl were together for those episodes. So they formed a nice bond.
Yeah, so, and then there's a big chunk where he's trying to find her as well.
But she had some good progression. She was also a character that was like somewhat loathed. People thought she was annoying, but she was having a good, progression where she became a survivor, similar to Carol. But she also made some stupid decisions. Should have tried to just walk away instead of going for the stabby stab. But
and not even like a good stabbing like right, like I guess try to hit the heart, but like it didn't work.
Yeah. Any other questions, Edward, about who died, who's alive, who left, who what?
I was gonna ask who the people at the end of the season finale died. Like, who are they, and like why are they important?
Reggie.
Yeah, the guy who gets accidentally sliced.
Pretty much.
It's just the people of Alexandria. He's the husband of the leader. Deanna is the leader. So they're just the people that are like nice and quaint and chill. And the world is too ugly for that to continue being the case. So he got. So we'll see. Again, you'll see next season. It's all about, and after this point, it's like Alexandria, and can we keep it together? And can we hold on to humanity while protecting this community? So
that's the shift from we have to live to survive. Now we have to live amongst each other in a community.
Yes,
where the shift happens.
Kind of the same with The Last of Us.
Quality could drop.
Yeah, similar to The Last of Us, where they finally make it to the city, and then they try to build, and all that stuff, right? I mean, similar. Yeah,
it's an interesting juxtaposition, though. Like you have a farm and a prison to now, hey, we have electricity in a community that has refrigerators and everything.
Right.
And it's
different. I'm excited.
It's different.
I'm excited, but also weary. Because
it's
we'll
top
be
rated
hitting
episodes, and I'll reveal soon enough. But I'm excited for these episodes. I think these are an evil laugh, but
what I'm talking about. Come on, man.
Yeah, for sure. But again, I think some of the like highest like top episodes, like for sure they're all in the top 10. But I think more than a couple, I think I'd put in my top 5 for this next batch. So don't be weary. Don't be wary. Don't be afraid.
I'm also very excited for the Where's Rick? I forget his name. I'm very excited for him for when he comes into the show.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
You'll be seeing him soon enough.
You will be, yes. And
cool.
We'll get a lot of them.
Yeah.
All right.
Excited.
So we will check back in after we've seen those next 4 episodes covering season 6 to season 9. All right, that is all the time we have. If you would like to give your thoughts on the show, you can email us at theboxofficeshowpod@gmail.com. Our main title theme for the show is Sundown by Joseph McDade. And if you like the show, please give us 5 stars on whatever podcast app you're listening to. And be sure to tune in next week. We will continue our analysis of The Walking Dead and go through those final 2 batches for seasons 6 through 11 of The Walking Dead.